Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to Uncivil Law, where, as always, we learn through the misfortunes of others. I am your host, Uncivil Law, a licensed attorney in Texas, Virginia, and before the United States Supreme Court, and I hope you're having a great day. Welcome, as always, to the Thursday night Thunderdome, where all the stories that otherwise slip through the cracks gain our attention. A last chance for all those stories that we didn't otherwise cover to come to the fold. We begin with the exploding toilet in Florida. You, I'm sure, have heard about this. A guy was at a Dunkin' Donuts and the toilet apparently exploded on him in what is apparently what would just be my ultimate nightmare. This is my room 101, people. This is my room 101. Covered in shit, possibly other people's shit. So rather than read the news article about it, we'll read the complaint because it's all 4 pages. You know, you don't need a lot to get started, and 4 pages will be fine. Tell us about this scatological area. Okay, so here's apparently what happened, according to him. In January of 2022, so 2 years ago, so getting in just before that deadline, I guess, on the statute of limitations, the plaintiff, who was lawfully in the premises of defendant, which incidentally might matter as it relates to status when it comes to shopkeepers, when it comes to duty to protect. So if you're a trespasser versus an invitee, a business invitee versus not. So those of you who remember far enough back into law school might remember, like, the duties that a business invitee owes a person versus a duty that a person who's trespassing versus a duty of a person who is lawfully present but not an invitee. Yeah, so the fact that he's lawfully on the premises, presumably for business, is actually legally relevant, because if it wasn't true, then some of these facts might not come in his favor. But he was there on business, so it's fine. He sustained severe and long-term injuries following the explosion of a toilet in the men's room of the business owned by a defendant. I would imagine there's many, many photographs of this because, yeah. The explosion apparently resulted in defendant and the interior of the room itself being covered with debris, including feces and urine. Yeah, this is about right up there with maximum nightmare land. If this happened to me, I would sue you so fast for everything. And yeah. Following the explosion of the toilet, the plaintiff emerged from the men's room and sought assistance from the employees and managers of the business to clean himself, as he remained covered with the feces and urine. Plaintiff was informed by defense employee they were aware of problems with the toilet, as prior incidences had occurred, which is also relevant, incidentally, to damages and also their duty to him as a business invitee. Because he's there for the purpose of engaging in business, then they have a duty to maintain a safe environment for the people they invite into the business, which is the general public, unless otherwise provided for, right? So the fact that they know, apparently, about this hazardous condition and didn't fix it is a further problem, right? So the fact that they knew and didn't fix it, again, relevant legally. The plaintiff required mental health care, I would think, and counseling is a direct result of the trauma experienced in the restroom. Yeah, I'm going to need all the mental health treatment for that one. All the mental health treatment. Just give me $1 million minimum for sure. So this is a basic fact pattern. We don't need very much, right? Lawsuits don't necessarily have to be complicated, right? So I somewhat appreciate this. This is very general, but it gives you everything you need to know, like the fundamental basis, right? The statement of facts is all about 4 paragraphs. I appreciate the brevity of it, right? We don't necessarily need to go into a lot of detail right now. This is initial complaint. 4 paragraphs is fine. It tells us who, what, when, where, why. It tells us everything we need to know in 4 short paragraphs. It happened January 6th. It happened at the Dunkin' Donuts, the address of which we previously provided. Who did it happen to? Plaintiff. Who did it? Defendant. What happened? Toilet explode. They knew about it. Yeah, we know everything we need to know, ma'am. 4 paragraphs of efficiency. I am here for it. As a result of that, we would like to sue you for the following things. Negligence. The defendant has a duty as an invitee. Business invitee. Yep, business invitee. You owe a duty of safety to the people in your business. You must maintain a safe environment for the people in your business. So you must maintain the premises, including the men's room and toilets, in a reasonably safe condition to be used by the invitees, and to warn invitees of any known or hazardous conditions. That's correct, you do, right? So you can put up a thing out of order, put up a sign, toilet may explode, right? Then you might have the idea of assumption of risk if they do it anyway. If there's a hole in your floor, you might want to, block that off. I'm now having bad flashbacks from bar prep examples where we've had that, a guy comes into a business after hours, there's a hole in the floor, he falls through and he injures himself. And then you add a couple other things into, like, please explain what legal result. Anyways, so you have to warn about what defendants knew or reasonably should have known through the exercise of reasonable care. That sounds about right. At the time's material to here too, defendant had the duty to warn its invitees, including plaintiff, of known or hazardous conditions about which they knew or should have exercised their care. Correct. So they have a duty to maintain their premises, and they have a duty to warn of unsafe conditions. Correct. At the date and time of the location described, they breached their duties in the following ways: negligently failing to maintain or adequately maintain the men's room toilet, thus creating a dangerous condition to members of the public, including the plaintiff; negligently failing to adequately inspect the men's room toilet to ascertain whether the toilet constituted a hazard to business invitees, including plaintiff, thus creating unreasonably dangerous conditions to members of the public, including plaintiff; negligently failed to warn and adequately warn of the gander of the men's room toilet. What does gander mean in this context? To adequately warn you of the gander of the men's room. What does gander mean in this context? I'm not even sure. The gander of the men's room toilet, when defendants knew or should have known the toilet was unreasonably dangerous, leaving plaintiff unaware of the danger. As a direct result of the breach or multiple breaches of duty and obligation, when lawfully on the premises, plaintiff became the victim. As a direct proximate result, suffered bodily image and psychological damages, including pain, suffering, disability, significant harm, blah, blah, blah. Therefore, we seek judgment against Dunkin' Donuts in excess of $50,000. Yeah. So all that stuff. Yeah. So that basically is the end of that. So, and then, we have the complaint filed when we got it in. This was filed on the 3rd, relating to an accident that happened 2 years prior. So getting in just before that statute of limitations period. So unclear what he's been doing for the last 2 years, but he's within the window. So yeah. Yeah. The gander might be an autocorrect thing. Yeah. I don't know what gander means in this context. The gander of the toilet. Not sure what that means. In any event, that brings us to the end of this story. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Uncivilian Army that you are. I'm glad that you are here and part of the Uncivilian Army. We appreciate every one of you who are part and join me as being part of the Uncivilians. We love you. So a brief update just on some things, just so you guys know. I've been spending some time trying to get access to the diver guy, the Superman defendant in Nevada. I've been trying to get access to his new and exciting charges information. So I have the official complaints, but that doesn't really help me very much. So what I really need is the arrest report or the probable cause affidavit. Now, I've seen news that quote the arrest report, but I can't find the arrest report. Now, I've put out a public records request to the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and also put out a request to the relevant court for access to records, because they don't seem to have any online access for their court that it's in, so I can't get it. So I had to send them a form. So we're trying, but I would really like to see the arrest report and the probable cause affidavit, because it will give us a lot more information about exactly what happened other than what we can see on the tape. So yeah, but unsurprisingly enough, he's facing a top count of attempted murder, which has an additional enhancement because it's a person over 60. And apparently the evidence for this is he told a guard or told someone in law enforcement he was trying to kill her. So the attempted murder is the hardest thing to prove, but we do have a statement against him. And everything else is kind of like a give me. Everything else is just a gimme because it's obviously true on tape. So yeah, do I think attempted murder is an overcharge? Not if they can prove it, and they seem to have some evidence, and they can always change their mind later. So is it an overcharge? And I also no indication at this time whether or not they're going to use the 3 strikes law to additionally make it a lifetime imprisonment. So yeah, Vegas requires an in-person pickup of docs. Well, I can't go in person. I'm in Texas, right? So I don't know how we're going to get a copy of this thing. Do I agree with attempted murder charge? I'm not sure I understand your question. In order for you to show attempted murder, you have to show the intent to kill. It was his intent to kill her. And apparently he made a statement to one of the guards that said, I was trying to kill her. So they have their prima facie case. I'm not sure what you mean beyond that. Yeah. Although I really like to have the affidavit because it would give me more information about their prima facie. So that's where we're at. Okay, also on personal notes, I am currently considering different kinds of backgrounds for when I move to Houston because I'd like to change it up, right? So I'm assuming I'm going to have a cream colored wall like I have now. And, the extortion charge, they put it in the prima facie case, but give me a second because I'm trying to do something. They put it in the affidavit. One second, please. Or they put it in the official charging document. So I don't have the probable cause affidavit and I don't have the arrest report, but they did put it in the complaint. So I can read it to you. Yeah, we want the documents. Yeah, we want the documents so we can sort of figure out exactly what we're talking about, right? All right. So, anyways, for my eventual setup for my new place, I've been looking at these sort of contact paper, wallpaper, peel and stick wallpapers. And I kind of like this one, this green one that I got here. Got this green with these sort of white sort of thread sort of in it. This is teal, kind of like that color. So I was thinking about that for a background. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna green screen the wall. I just kind of want something to have a backdrop that isn't just a plain cream wall. So, that's sort of where I'm sitting on that. Yeah. Okay, so Diobra is his name, Diobra Reedon. And here is what it says in the complaint with respect to the it's just the recitation of the thing. So count 3, extortion by threat. That the defendant did willfully, unlawfully, feloniously, and knowingly, with intent to influence the action of a public officer, to wit, the judge, whether or not the purpose is accomplished, threatens directly or indirectly to injure the person, to wit, during his rendition of a sentence, and once he knew she was about to sentence him to prison, did leap over defense counsel's table into the well of the courtroom, thereafter rushing towards the judicial bench and jumping over it, Superman style, directly into the judge's judicial space, landing on top of her and immediately attacking the judge by grabbing her, pulling her hair, placing his hands around her, and or hitting her on a thread by manner and also means unknown. So the extortion is in the nature of intending to influence the action of an officer by threatening injury. Yeah. So yeah, do what I want or I'm going to injure you. Yeah, that's extortion. That legally qualifies as extortion. Yeah, do what I want or I'm going to hurt you. Yeah. Yeah, or I am hurting you. Do what I want and I'm beating you up, right? So yeah, I'm beating you up because I want you to do what I want, or I'm threatening to beat you up because I want you to do what I want. That's extortion. That qualifies. Yeah, that's extortion, no problem. So yeah, they got him on that. They got him on that. and then everything else is just a gimme. The only challenging charge is the attempted murder. But depending on what he said to whom, it's largely going to come out of his own mouth. But if he said anything to anybody, if one officer can get up there and say, yeah, he said I was trying to kill that bitch, then that does it. That'll do it. So that's where we are, Yes, there's an attempted murder charge. That's count one. I was reading yes, there's like 15 charges, to be precise. To go through them briefly. Attempted murder of a victim 60 years of age or older, which apparently is an enhancement on top of attempted murder. Battery on a protected person of a person 60 years age or older. Extortion by threat, which we just did. Intimidating a public officer, which we covered that. So, yeah. Battery of an officer, battery of an officer, battery of an officer, battery of an officer, battery of an officer. Performance of an act or neglect of duty in willful or wanton disregard of safety. Reckless endangerment, effectively, in so many words. You created a risk. You created a risk of injury. Battery on a protected person, that would be the law clerk. Battery by a prisoner, he was already convicted because, he had already pled guilty, so he was convicted. So he's a prisoner. Yeah, that works. Unlawful act related to human excrement or bodily fluid, namely by spitting. So that works. All those things work. So the only really challenging one at all is the attempted murder. And as long as we have statements that, I'm going to kill you, which would be in the police report or probable cause affidavit, then they should have that too. He's doomed. He's absolutely doomed, and he's going to be in prison for the rest of his life. Let me spoil the end for you. You know what I mean? Let me just spoil the end for you. Yeah. This is definitely here. Take a look at the law books. We're charging with everything we can find. I'm not even sure this is everything we could find. It's everything we could find within the 4-day period or whatever. We're already on amended complaint number 2. I'm not even sure this is necessarily the end. This is just what we could dream up so far, right? What we could do quick and dirty. There might be another superseding indictment or complaint at some point. All right, let's go to cheaters in the news. People cheating on their missions. Again, it's not a repeat. It's not Volkswagen again, but it's the same idea, right? People cheating on their missions. Don't cheat. The United States and California have announced a diesel engine manufacturer, Cummins, agrees to pay a record $1.6 billion civil penalty. That is a lot of civil penalty. That is a lot of civil penalty. 1.7, really, let's round it up. $1.7 billion in civil penalty. That's a lot of civil penalty. So that would definitely get my attention. So yeah, that's a lot. So they definitely got their money's worth out of this case. The Justice Department, the EPA, California Air Resource Board, and the California Attorney General have released details of the proposed settlement with the diesel's engine maker for violations of the Clean Air Act and California law. They've also agreed, on top of the $1.7 billion, to spend more than $325 million, bringing us to up to $2 billion, to remedy the violations, which includes the use of software defect devices that circumvent testing. So $1.7 billion of fines and $300 million of fix-it. That's a drop in the bucket. That's still a lot. Someone's gonna notice that. Someone's gonna notice that, right? I mean, $2 billion, someone's gonna notice that. That's a fair amount of money. Under the settlement, they also must complete a nationwide recall to repair and replace the engine control software in the hundreds of thousands of Ram 2500 and Ram 3500 pickup trucks equipped with the diesel engines. So Ram owners out there, Ram Tough, you are going to be getting some news in the mail. The engine manufacturer will also extend the warranty period, fund and perform projects to mitigate the excess ozone creating nitrogen oxide, and further changes. So yeah, that's a lot. The EPA saying today's landmark settlement is another example of the Harris administration working to ensure communities across the United States breathe clear air. I have no problem with this, by the way. I have no problem with this. You know, we have a society, we play by the rules. You don't play by the society rules, you should get the whacking stick. You know, I only wish the Biden administration was more consistent about the whacking stick on every issue relevant to their job. But I have no problem with this, right? I have no problem with this morally. These people are just damn cheaters. These people are just damn cheaters. They tried to cheat and they got caught, and it's like, give us $2 billion. So good on the Biden administration. I don't care. Damn, you know, is the Clean Air Act good? Is it like what it should be? I don't know, but don't be a liar. Don't lie. You know? Yeah. The Attorney General stating the Justice Department is committed to vigorously enforcing environmental laws to protect the American people from harmful pollutants. I have no problem with this. Go get them. The type of devices we allege that they installed in their engines to cheat have had significant and harmful impact on people's health and safety. Apparently, they installed the defective devices in 600,000 trucks. That's a lot of recall. Hence the $325 million. Hence the $325 million. That's a lot of recall. We need to recall 600,000 trucks and fix it to the tune of $325 million. Don't lick the boot, man. I'm a lawyer, man. I like the law being enforced. I don't lick the boot for the sake of leaking the boot. I criticize the police all the time. When the police are wrong, I criticize them. This isn't one of their times, man. Someone broke the law. They're a goddamn cheater. They deserve to be caught. Get busted, man. Get busted. Whether it's bad regulations and laws is beyond my immediate concern. Go talk to your congressman about it. Yeah. The collaboration between California and federal partners makes it clear the companies will be held accountable for violating the environmental laws. This also, of course, should not be made to understood that I think everything the EPA does is necessarily great. When the EPA got their ass handed to them by the U.S. Supreme Court for trying to regulate all the water everywhere, I was more than happy to say the EPA was full of shit because it wasn't the law. You know? So as long as it's the law, I'm cool. The EPA discovered the defects through testing at the agency's laboratory. Perhaps it was a random test, as they sometimes do, but they figured it out. The test was done as a follow-up on a 2015 EPA warning to manufacturers that the agency planned to conduct special testing to identify defect devices. Yeah. And there's consent decrees, which basically makes that final. This impacts potentially 1 million model year 2013 to 2023 Ram 2500 and Ram 3500 trucks, of which 630,000 are estimated to have had the illegal emissions control software. That's a lot of problem. And they have to repair at least 85% within 3 years. They must offer special warranties and a whole bunch of other stuff. So yeah, that's the end of that story. It's great. It's great. Who's going to jail for this criminal fraud? In reality, no penalties were leveled against the actual wrongdoers. The people who did this, the company did this. Company got whacked $2 billion. Don't do the frauds. Is it like what happened with Volkswagen? Is a lot like what happened with Volkswagen. Basically, yes. Long story short, yes. It is basically Volkswagen all over again. You know, to a reasonable, you know, margin of difference. Is Sandy here? Did I see a Sandy pop in? Hi, Sandy. How are you doing? We love you, Sandy. You're the best. Sandy, we're discussing new ideas for behind me when I move. I'm assuming Kestrel's also here, and A. Hettinger's also here, and Tony P's also here. All the mods are here. Great. It's just Mod City. Okay, great. So you guys have to help me. This is now part of your mod duties. All right. There. Can we get a swoop? Yes, I have to create one because I had to redo OBS and I didn't create it. Hold on. I can talk amongst yourselves. Let's see if it goes down here and I call this, now's as good a time as any. We're having fun. So yeah, let's call this swoop. All right. And I need to add a media source and do that. And I need to do this. Okay. And if I say, give me the local file. Okay. It's probably my logos. I hope it is. Great. All right. Okay. Let's see what happens if I do this. Let's see if the swoop works. Swoop. Nice. We have swoop now. We have swoop-tastic. All right, anyways. All right, so Sandy, we need you and Kestrel and Tony and all mod help. All right. We mostly me. Sometimes I refer to myself in plural. I'm not sure why I do it. It's just a bad habit. But me, are considering what's going to be behind me when I move, right? So we're gonna change the setup so that my thing is pointing at a wall, right? So we have a little bit more control rather than it pointing at a kitchen. Now, I'm assuming that the new exciting walls are going to be roughly the same color as I have now, the same sort of color cream, because why would they do anything different, right? So with that in mind, I am looking at peel and stick wallpapers and other things that would be similar to this that we can put up on the wall as a new wall color to make things a little bit more exciting. So my personal favorite right now is this one here, this teal. This is this wallpaper in teal. It's contact paper, basically. Contact paper. So you just peel it and stick it. Easy to apply, easy to get rid of, right? Also, it's only $8 for a roll. It's an $8 for a roll. How can you not love this? It's so cheap, right? And so this is sort of what it would look like, right? You get all these, like you get the teal color, and then you kind of got these white, like, I don't know what you would call them, like threads in them. Sort of like money. If you know how money's made, they've got those like red and blue stripes in the money. So it's kind of like that sprinkled throughout. I thought that could be a fun color. Yeah, fibers. Thank you, fibers. So that's a strong candidate. And so you guys can start thinking about what's going to be behind me in sort of what's going to be on screen so that we have something nice to look at. Here's a textured one in a blue wallpaper. That's pretty cool. It's kind of like a nice little quilted fun pattern in a lighter blue. You need a lot of rolls? I don't think I'm going to need a lot of rolls. It's 17.7 inches by 118 inches. One roll is more than enough. I don't even need one roll. I'm not trying to do every wall in my house. I'm just trying to do the background for my thing. So I'll do a wall. Just a wall, right? So like, yeah. I don't one thing will be fine. One thing will be fine. And then like there's other things along these lines too. There's like a black one that's kind of textured, but I think it's too dark. There's a faux brick one I was slightly tempted by. So here's a faux brick one. Yeah, and this comes in different colors, right? So here it is with like different colored bricks. That's kind of cool. That's kind of neat. You know, kind of color bricks. And it also comes in a brown and a gray brick. LEDs won't really show up. Yeah, these would be replacement for the LEDs. This is the new and this is the new and improved LED. That's the idea, right? So we wouldn't really be doing the LED thing anymore. We'd just be doing the background. So we can do like a black background, but that might be too much. So give some thought to what you think should be behind me. Also, of course, we could do something practical. We could get some like IKEA bookshelves or something and put like some knickknacks on it, sort of like Richard Ho does or something like that. But give some thought to it about what you want on the background, because, you know, start looking about what do you want on uncivil background. Yeah. I wonder how they'll put up the command strips holding up other items. I won't anticipate using command strips. Yeah, I don't think I'll anticipate using command strips. I would probably use picture hangers. I've got these, you know, very small picture hangers that museums use. They leave a very small hole in the wall. They hold like 30 pounds. So I probably wouldn't use commanded heat. Yeah. So something to think about, right? Something to think about. So hey, guys, look, while you guys are listening to stories, maybe you can even do some Amazon searching. So look for like peel and stick wallpapers, or look for contact paper, or look for other things that would be suitable, and see if it's, you know, we don't want something too busy. So there's like flowers and like, no, but you know, see if there's something you like. Let me know what you like. Yeah. Yeah. So you guys, we can start debating that in mod chat, and you guys can look up some things. So if you guys have some suggestions, put them in chat. Put them in chat with the name on Amazon or something, and we'll throw them in mod chat and see what we got. It'll be fun. You guys can help be design consultants for the new Uncivil setup. It'll be great. We could also do the teal with fibers on the wall, and then do some backless bookcases on top of that. It's good. How large is the wall? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how large the wall is. We probably realistically only need something like 10 by 10 tops, if that. But don't worry about it. It doesn't matter how big the wall is, because it doesn't really matter how big the wall is. What really matters is how much of the wall the camera is going to see. And I don't think it's going to see more than about 5 feet tops, so I wouldn't worry about it. Everything after that is gravy. All right, while you guys are talking about that amongst yourselves, and we could even do some searches based on your suggestions between stories. Ooh, so there's fun. There's a fun thing. Why don't the mods, why don't you take a list of the things that they say while we're covering a story, and look them up to make sure that they're not, you know, horribly obscene or anything, and put them in mod chat, and we can even look at them between stories. It'll be fun. We're having fun together. I like hanging out with you guys. It's great. All right, while we're doing that, let's discuss another story. Starbucks is being sued by a consumer group because they say that the ethical claims of Starbucks are not quite so true. We will also accept challenges to the entire idea from Kestrel or anyone else who says this is all a bunch of stupid and you should just stick with the LED lights. So if you want to be part of the team stupid, just stick with the LED lights thing, then, you know, we can do that too. But yeah. All right. Anyway, Starbucks is being sued over the claims that it has ethical sourcing, because not so much. Is ethical sourcing a legal determination? Well, it would have to, the question, for lack of a better definition, what would a reasonably prudent consumer understand, right? So that's sort of your fallback. In the absence of them claiming an official standard that they're applying to, so if they're claiming an official standard, they have to meet the standard. If they're just simply saying ethical sourcing, then it would have to be, well, what makes ethical sourcing, right? What is that? It's a false advertising claim, basically, at core. Yeah. Ethical sourcing is subjective, no case. I'm not sure about that, A. Hedinger. You're getting a little ahead of yourself on that one. You might be right in the end, but I think you're getting a little ahead of yourself. All right. We could put LEDs in the bookcases too. Yes, of course. A consumer advocacy group has filed a lawsuit against Starbucks, saying the company's claim that its coffee is ethically sourced is false and misleading. The National Consumers League, which I don't really like that name, but whatever, cited media reports of abuses on farms that supply coffee and tea. The group says it casts doubts in Starbucks packaging, which says it's committed to 100% ethical sourcing. I'm not sure that necessarily speaks to conditions, but whatever. Yeah. Well, as to Blinky, we will have this on the background. So this is going to be part of the background. So this thing that changes the things and shows the YouTube stats and everything like that, that will be part of the background. So that's one of the things that will be nailed into the wall / put on a bookcase, along with the YouTube button and probably the Supreme Court license, right? So those things will be part of the background. So don't worry, you'll have an LED there to show you like subscriber count and also implicitly remind you to subscribe to things and stuff like that. So don't worry, you will have something blinky to keep your focus. We could do some plants. We could do lots of things. Yeah. Starbucks on Wednesday says aware lawsuit will aggressively defend itself. Among the incidents cited in the lawsuit is a 2022 case in which police rescued 17 workers from a coffee farm in Brazil where they're made to work outdoors without protective equipment and lift 130-pound sacks of coffee. Well, I mean, worker regulations aren't exactly the same in every country. So I can't speak to the ethicalness or not of that, or even the legality of that or not. Yeah. Yeah. We could also use like a photography drop cloth, although that wouldn't look as good as something we can put on the wall. So like, yeah, preferably something that we can like just put straight on the wall. Starbucks says it has taken the allegations seriously, is actively engaged with farms to ensure they cite our standards. So to the extent they have standards, to the extent they do have standards, and the extent that they publicize those standards in some sort of public way as part of their official thing, right? If they say we actually have standards and they promote those standards and it's part of their official thing, then something they have to be held to. Yeah. The lawsuit also cites a report from the BBC exposing rampant sexual abuse and grueling conditions on a tea plantation in Kenya. Starbucks buys around 3% of the world's coffee, saying it works worth more than 400,000 farmers in 30 countries. Starbucks developed its ethical sourcing guidelines in 2004 and has third parties verify conditions. So yeah, to the extent, right? So yeah. But the National Consumers League says Starbucks is misleading consumers by failing to disclose its certification program doesn't designate ethical sourcing. Well, again, it would be sort of, it would be by sort of their own terms, right? What do we mean by ethical sourcing? And so to the extent they're not violating their own terms, yeah. To the extent that they wouldn't be understood, yeah. But this doesn't sound super promising. This lawsuit just sounds a little thin. I don't think a neon sign's really for me. That just seems a little tacky to my taste. So I don't think I'm a neon sign kind of guy. Yeah. Have I read about the lawsuit of Hershey being sued for $5 million for falsely representing its products with the Halloween pumpkins not having smiles and stuff? Yeah, I saw that. So, anyways, that's the end of that story for today. We'll see how it progresses. But the law, it sounds a little thin from the story's description. It sounds a little thin from the story's description. It can't be the case that, it can't be the case with them buying 3% of all the coffee in the world that they have to make sure that every single bean is ethical, right? We do our best within our constraints and we try to meet our sign. Like, how about a little sign with a shelf size? I don't know, man. I don't know. It just seems a little tacky. I don't know. I don't think neon's for me. Yeah, I just don't think neon. I see those signs on like Amazon where you can get like small neon signs and stuff. I just don't think neon's for me. I don't think it's my shtick. You know, we'd like to have something that projects a little bit of confidence, right? We want to have something that seems like serious and upbeat and more professional. But I don't think neon is working in that vein. Yeah, I think neon is against what we're trying to do here. But I appreciate the enthusiasm. Staggered shells, maybe. And a plant could be good. LED sign. We do have one, actually. We have Rob's sign. So we have the one that we had on background before. So depending on the situation and depending on the setup, we may be able to have Rob's sign on. So that will solve that problem, right? We have the UL logo in a plastic that Rob sent me. Also, by the way, he sent me a pen. So we can have pen time. So Rob sent me a pen. First of all, he put it in this beautiful 3D custom printed casing. I mean, that's just cool, right? I mean, that's just cool. So I put it in this beautiful printed 3D casing. And then, he put the pen there like that. That's really cool with a little foam there, a little foam insert. And also, here's the pen up close. The beautiful purple. Yeah. Got a little rifle there for the clip. That's cool. Yeah. And I like this mechanism is pretty interesting too. I've never really seen a mechanism like that. Right? So it's not pushed down. This little bar on the side here. You push in and it rotates out. So that's very, very cool. So like a brass tip there. So thank you very much for the pen, Rob. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a very beautiful pen. I like it. And purple is the color of law. So, one of the reasons my logo is purple. Right? Purple is the color of law. So why not? And orange is the color of engineering. So we got a little nod to my engineering background, a little nod to my law background, a little nod to everything, right? All right, so let's see. What else do we got today? Okay. So Trump is not going to be on the Nevada primary because they're participating in the caucuses instead. So I don't know how that works, but anyway, so we don't have to talk anymore about that. Fruit Strike gum is coming to an end. So that's sad. Not really law related, but still kind of notable. Didn't know law had a color? Yeah, it's an academic subject thing. Yeah, I wonder if there's a list of like all the colors. Hold on. Colors, academic subjects. Yeah, so different subjects have colors. So in case you care, math is blue, Science is green. History is red and orange. Yeah. Let's see if I can find it. Hold on. Yeah. On the economic colors. Yeah, okay. There's a list. And this is in the United States, by the way, because different countries have different colors, because of course they do. So it's not like a universal thing. Different countries have different colors. But in the United States anyway. Let's see if I can find the list. I think Wikipedia has it or something. Yeah. So here's the color for the United States, in case you care about such things. So, yeah. Commerce is this drab color. Dentistry is lilac. Economics color. Engineering orange. Law purple. Journalism crimson. Public health is salmon. Nursing apricot. Medicine is green. Medicine is green, but nursing is apricot. Public health is salmon. Yeah. So yeah, there's different colors for different things. So yeah, law in the United States is purple. Yeah. Philosophy is dark blue. I should have gotten a degree in philosophy. That'd been cool. Maybe I could go to community college and get a degree in philosophy or something. That'd be fun. Masters in philosophy or something. That'd be cool. Just for the hell of it. Can I do a master's online for philosophy? Let's find Uncivil and online. Let's find Uncivil an online college that he can get a degree in philosophy for a master's. It'll be fun. I got it on Wikipedia. Academic regalia. Look up academic regalia. It gives you the list of the various colors. Anyways, Fright Stroop gum is coming to an end. No more Fright Stroop gum. It's very, very sad for us all. Yeah. Fright Stroop gum is being discontinued. We made the difficult decision to sunset Fright Stroop gum. So, Fruit Stripe gum has come to an end. Very disappointing for us all. Yeah. You could pass and fail a class at the same time. Yeah. Yeah. I like philosophy. It'd be cool to just get a master's in philosophy for the hell of it. Especially if I didn't have to is that what they mean by color law? It's absolutely not what they mean by color law. Soft or otherwise. No. All right. In my ability to make the DoorDash was harder than I hoped. A DoorDasher was unable to make delivery because he was being chased by cows. Yeah. Yeah. So that makes delivery hard. You know, you're trying to make delivery, you're trying to get someone their food, but you're being chased by cows. That's an interesting report, to be sure. The cows are indeed heading his way. They're facing them. They want their regrets. Here is apparently a video of this. This should be entertaining. Is this going to play for me? Yep.
I don't know what to do in this situation. I'm just going to keep going backwards, I suppose.
Sweet. In Wisconsin, where the cows live, a DoorDash driver had quite the surprise when a herd of cows started chasing his vehicle down the road. Peyton Zach told 27 News he's on highway heading back to the city when he saw a line of cars in distance and a bunch of shadows on the road. Then a herd of cows started running towards his vehicle. He said another car eventually came up behind him, so he stopped and turned the car sideways, bracing for impact. But the cows did go around him. and he was able to get the DoorDash to the customer. How fun and exciting. How fun and exciting. So yeah, the cows were objecting, but everything worked out in the end. Good times. By the way, I went to the gym both yesterday and today. I didn't put up the graphic for it because I was feeling lazy, but that's okay. I actually went to the gym. I'm kind of doing everything but legs right now because I don't feel like I need any leg power because like I did that 500-pound lift and stuff, but I'm still doing some machine squats rather than barbell squats. I'm still doing that. I did some fly today. That was good. I did some cable row. That was good. I did these lateral extensions with a cable for my arms. That was good. Let's see, what else did I do today? I did fly. Did I mention that? I did fly. Fly, I actually like fly. I like the fly machine. The fly machine might be my favorite machine. Yeah. So we did get our gym on today. We are getting swole. So progress is being made. Progress is being made, slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. All right, what else? Yeah. This is fun. This is interesting. I don't know what to think about this story. I just think it's funny. It's just the most it's one of the most random things in the world. All right. All right. So a guy yeah. A guy apparently kidnapped a teenager. He's 31, she's 16. The purpose for which he kidnapped him is not immediately clear from this article. The police were able to find the girl, and they were able to find the girl through a particularly interesting means, which I just think is hilarious or funny or something. I don't know what it is. But anyways, World of Warcraft turns out to be the thing that broke the case. Of all the things that you think would help you find the missing 16-year-old, World of Warcraft is probably not the first thing that comes to mind. But World of Warcraft was the thing that allowed the police to find the teen that was being kept in the guy's basement. Yeah. The FBI, why is this on screen? The FBI had contacted the Marion County Sheriff's Office after investigators had learned that the 16-year-old's account for World of Warcraft was active at a residence. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So they're looking for this girl. They're looking for this girl. And the FBI notices that her account from World of Warcraft is being used. Yeah. Yeah. So they traced the call, as it were. They traced the call. Great. So we let the 16-year-old play World of Warcraft in our basement, and it exposed the whole thing. That's good. Blizzard needs good news, man. So it's good news for Blizzard, man. The police found the 16-year-old in the residence of Thomas Elbersol, 31, whose account was also at the same address. Elbersol initially denied knowing the 16-year-old girl, but later admitted that he had driven to Ohio to meet up with her and brought her back to Dunlin. Okay. So he drove up to Ohio to meet with her and then brought her back to Florida. He repeatedly told authorities he was in a romantic relationship with the teen and planned to hide her in a home and make her his wife. He's been arrested and charged with charges including traveling to meet a minor to engage in sexual activity, interfering with child custody, and sheltering an unmarried minor. And also, if the feds want a piece of him, the Mann Act. The Mann Act. He transported a minor across state lines for the purpose of sexual engagement. Oof. Oof. Yeah, so yeah, if the feds want a piece of him, it's not going to end well for him. So yeah, he drove all the way to Ohio to meet the girl, then drove her all the way back to Florida, and apparently thought the parents weren't going to notice or something. So yeah, not great. He's going to have a bad time. Yeah. Not that it's particularly relevant to the story, although maybe it is, because I don't know the consent laws of every state. So even assuming that 16 is the lawful age of consent in whatever jurisdictions are relevant to the story, the transporting of the minor is not. So even assuming that she's allowed to have sex in the relevant states, the transporting her between it for that purpose is a violation of the Mann Act. So the feds could have some fun. Are there no women in Florida? I don't know. He met the love of his life in Ohio, which I suppose I kind of understand, because I've been looking for the love of my life all over the place. But you know what I probably wouldn't do? Go get her and then kidnap her and hold her in my basement. First of all, I don't have a basement, so that'd make it really hard. So, you know, but also it's I don't imagine that ending well. I would travel to Ohio. I went to law school in Ohio. I haven't been back to Ohio since, but you know, they have a cool flag. Wouldn't want to live there particularly, but you know, I travel to Ohio to meet the love of my life. Whatever it takes, man, whatever it takes. All right. And I'm not sure how to feel about this news because it feels like too little too late. But a North Carolina man has been exonerated after 44 years of wrongful imprisonment and will receive a $25 million settlement, which I suppose is good that he was found out to be wrongfully in prison. And it's good he's receiving such a huge settlement, but it doesn't make me feel really better. It doesn't make me feel better because his life has been taken away from him. You know, and money can't really make that right. So I suppose I should feel happy about this, but I just don't feel happy. You know, I just don't feel like we accomplished anything. You know? And so I don't know how to feel about this. I don't feel like I think I'm supposed to feel. I don't know if that's normal. Is it okay not to be happy about this? Is that okay? Is it okay to feel like not happy that the guy got released and got the $25 million because it just doesn't feel like good in the context of the thing because it's so late in coming that it just feels kind of almost pointless and empty? Is that an okay feeling to have? Or am I a bad person for feeling that way? You know, am I a bad person for reading this and not really feeling joy or happiness and kind of feeling empty? Yeah, I don't know. You know. Maybe he's happy though. So maybe if he's happy, I guess I'm happy, I suppose. A man who's been exonerated and freed after serving 44 years in prison is going to receive a $25 million settlement in the second largest wrongful conviction settlement. Yeah. This is kind of the problem, right? There's no money you can really put on 44 years of someone's life, right? It just doesn't feel, it feels empty. It feels empty. You know, if Maya deserves $250,000, then how much does this guy deserve? You know, it feels empty. Ronnie Long, who is black, was accused of raping a 54-year-old white woman and convicted of an all-white jury by rape and burglary in 1976. He's now settled a civil lawsuit with the city of Concord and the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation for $25 million. The conviction was vacated in 2020, which is pretty difficult, after a trickle of post-trial disclosures unearthing a troubling and striking pattern of deliberate police suppression of material evidence. In 1976. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, he's been in jail longer than I've been alive too. I mean, yeah. You know, the suppressed evidence, which includes semen samples and fingerprints that did not match him, were deliberately withheld. I believe it. In the settlement, the city of Concord acknowledges and accepts responsibility for the error of judgment and willful misconduct by previous employees. He served 44 years, 3 months, and 17 days. The clinic's supervising attorney said no amount of money will ever compensate him for 44 years, and the indifference of a number of elected officials who fought to keep him incarcerated despite overwhelming evidence of innocence. Which also raises interesting and troubling questions when you try to think about things from like first principles when you deal with wrongfully convicted. And we sort of talked about this, and it's hard, and it's not really clear what the answer is or if there really are answers, because on the one hand you don't want to wrongfully convict somebody, but on the other hand, like, there has to be some kind of finality. We can't just allow people to just keep going over and over and over again. Right? We can't, for the sake of victims, actual victims, for the sake of efficiency, for the sake of closure, for the sake of everything, we can't just allow people to reopen everything, And so then there becomes a question about, there becomes a question about, like, when do you overturn a guilty verdict? And that answer, there's not really comfortable answers with that, and it has certainly been the case, and we've discussed this before, where there's been situations where a person was convicted and, like, every eyewitness would sign an affidavit at a later time saying, no, he didn't do it and I lied, and they still isn't enough to reverse. And you understand why, from a matter of policy, why that's true. But it's like, how do you deal with this? And there are no fun, happy answers. There are no fun, happy answers, right? So, yeah. While he was away in prison, his parents passed away. He missed birthdays, graduations, funerals, and other important events. He can never get it back. The settlement includes $22 million from the city of Concord and $3 million from the State Bureau of Investigation. After his conviction was vacated, he was told he'd receive $750,000, which apparently was the maximum allowed by law. And then he said he would fight the law. So I'm not sure whether or not we found out the law was invalid or we just gave up because it was so painful. So I don't know. Yeah. Large settlement and public apology are significant. The fact that Concord is taking responsibility will likely lift some of this burden. We wish others responsible for miscarriage would follow the example. While there are no measures to fully restore Mr. Long and his family, through agreement, we're all doing everything in our power to right past wrong and responsibility. It's not even really perjury that's the problem here, by the way. It's the problem that apparently either the crime lab and or the DA withheld the exonerating evidence. So, yeah. Quite frankly, someone's known to be innocent and kept in prison for sick balls. Yeah, but known to be innocent is a whole nother can of worms. Right? What does it mean to know to be innocent? What does that mean? And, like, when you start really thinking about it and trying to apply it in a consistent way, it gets problematic. Yeah, it gets problematic. What does it mean to know that someone's innocent? What does that mean exactly? Yeah. So it's challenging. It's challenging. It's not happy fun time. It's not happy fun time. As you're trying to think, at least as I'm trying to figure out everything from first principles to try to have a consistent rule set, because that's what I like, right? As I'm trying to figure out everything from a consistent frame, from first principles to have a consistent rule set, it's like I have a lot of trouble finding a consistent rule set, which makes me grumpy. It makes me grumpy. So, yeah, it does make me feel happy inside. That's why the death penalty is scary. Yeah, I have a different view on the issue of the death penalty than a lot of people. I don't know. It just, you take someone's life away. You took 44 years of his life away. I'm not sure how much worse death is, to be honest. Maybe that seems callous. Maybe that seems unfair, but I have a different morality view of this. I just don't think it's as clear as black and white. So anyways, was there DNA testing back then? But no, there wasn't DNA, but we didn't need it. There were fingerprints inconsistent, and there was semen which could be matched, presumably using some kind of blood test or something, but it wasn't matched. So no, there's no DNA, but it doesn't matter. Yeah. The death penalty is the death penalty. Yeah, there's sort of the great line from there's a great line from Gandalf to Frodo, like, there are people who deserve death, but then there are people who deserve life. Can you give it back to them? And so the death penalty does have a serious type 1 and type 2 error problem. False positives and false negatives. But I don't know. My somewhat hot take on this, and I don't know that anyone agrees with my morality on this. But I'll explain it as best as I can. My hot take on the issue is that sentencing someone to life in prison is just asking for the death penalty with extra steps. Because it's like you lack the courage of your own convictions, and so you're unwilling to pull the trigger yourself. You're unwilling to have the sword yourself, right? And that goes to that Game of Thrones idea, right? The man who gives the sentence should hold the sword. You should have the courage of your own convictions. So in some ways, I think that life imprisonment without the possibility of parole is sort of a coward's solution. It's like you have implicitly, to my mind, determined this person's worthy of death, but you're not willing to actually give it. And so you're being a pansy and waiting for the Grim Reaper to do it for you. It's like, if you really believe this, you should have the balls to do it yourself, right? You should have the balls to do it yourself. And so, like, you're trying to hedge your bets, and it kind of frustrates me a little. People talk about people who were falsely convicted who were executed, and they point out the injustice in that. But what I never seem to hear as part of that discussion is the people who died in prison, not from the death penalty, who were falsely convicted, whether from old age or otherwise, right? So again, it's that whole thing, like, it's like the trolley problem, because I didn't pull the switch. I get to distance myself from this and pretend I'm not responsible, right? It's not me who pulled the switch. It's the Grim Reaper who's going to do it for me 30 years from now or whatever, right? So, where is the wringing of hands and the gnashing of teeth for everyone who died in prison from a life sentence, who was falsely convicted. Why are their stories any less valid than the death penalty? It's like because we actually inflicted it, we're more morally responsible. I'm not sure that's true. Because we pulled the switch, we're more morally responsible. I'm not sure that's true. If you set in place a chain of events which leads to an inexorable outcome, I think you're kind of responsible for the outcome. So it's like, I'm not sure that wrongful deaths from the death penalty are any worse than wrongful deaths from life imprisonment. So I think people who point to life imprisonment as a alternative to the death penalty are somewhat kidding themselves. And then they point to things like this. It's like, yes, we have time to correct it. But do we really, though? Do we really? I think the idea that we have time to correct it is a bit of a false comfort. I don't know. I have a different moral take. You really believe this guy deserves death, you should have the balls to do it yourself. You should never outsource something that you're not willing to do yourself, at least in principle. Right. So I went hunting one time. I didn't like it because it was cold and dark. But I didn't have a moral problem with it. I had a practical problem with it. It's cold and it's dark and I don't like it. And I can buy my deer from the butcher very cheaply. And so I'll just do that. Right. So I don't have a problem with outsourcing my deer / cattle, because I am in principle willing to do it. I'm just lazy and can't be bothered. But I don't have a moral problem with it. So I'm not asking someone to do something for me that I'm not willing to do. So I don't know. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, and I've said this before. I've said this before. And I don't know what I'd really do in such a situation, obviously, because who can say? But if it came down to it, and my choices were life imprisonment without the possibility of parole and the death penalty, I'd have to think about it. I don't know if it's just me. But if my choices are life imprisonment without the possibility of parole and the death penalty, I'd have to think about it. I'm just saying. I don't know if that's a weird take. I don't know if that's a strange take, but it's my take. So yeah. Processing a whole deer does take a fair amount of effort. I'm not saying it doesn't require effort. I'm just saying I'll pay someone else to do it for me, Tony. Solve my problem right up. Yeah. He didn't die in prison? Yeah. I don't know. Somehow it doesn't feel like we really got anything out of the exchange, but I don't know. Yeah. At least you can still do stuff while you're alive. Yeah, but not really. So I don't know. Let's move on to a brighter topic. Jesus Christ. All right. So first of all, we have some videos. 2 stray dogs have hurt some cars at a dealership. Stop. Not you. All right. So I'll just put this on mute because we don't need the audio for any sort of copyright reasons. But we got some video from the local news of these dogs, tearing out some cars, causing about $350,000 of damage to cars. Just some stray dogs. Yeah, just tearing apart some cars. Yeah, they're definitely taking those cars apart, man. They're having a good old time. Yeah, there's a picture of a car. That's rough. That's rough. Yeah. From stray dogs. Stray dogs are scary shit. Feral dogs? Holy shit, dude. I'm not sure. Between feral dogs and wolves, I might take the wolves. Damn. Dogs are scary shit, man. I'm just saying they will fuck you up. Yeah. Don't mess with dogs. Don't mess with wild dogs. You're in a place where there are wild dogs, carry a big gun with a lot of ammo. You're going to need it. Woof. Is that protected by comprehensive coverage? Well, these are car dealers' cars. So they aren't covered by auto insurance. They're covered by premise insurance, I would think. So I don't know. But I assume yes. But I don't know. The pair of strays apparently caused a $350,000 of damage. One is a bull terrier, and the second breed was unknown. They were caught December 31st. They're being housed in animal control in Houston. I will not be adopting these dogs, I guarantee you. The dogs were captured on surveillance footage, scratching the paint and tearing the bumpers off the vehicles at G Motors. The attacks began in November. They believe the dogs entered the lot by crawling under a fence, and they were chasing stray cats that were hiding under their vehicles. I just want all the customers to know everything's been taken care of and we feel for the dogs, but they're in good hands. Man. An Italian village made headlines last month after police determined a dog with gum disease was responsible for slashing tires. Yeah. Yeah, so some sort of business insurance. Yeah, some sort of business insurance. Yeah, I had a comprehensive claim on my car when I was studying for the bar. When I was studying for the bar. I was trying to remember the exact timing of it. So, I was studying and I was out and about. I was meeting somebody to help to study for the bar. And I got lost because, I was tired and because I was up and running a lot of hours, I was tired. So I pulled into the driveway of a restaurant of some kind, trying to get back onto street. And the turn I took wasn't a road, it was to the parking lot. And so there's no way out of the parking lot except the way I came back in. And then on my way back out, there's one of those bollards, the concrete pipes, concrete things that stick out of the ground. So there was one on my right hand side that was towards the building, I suppose to help protect the corner of the building. And I effectively smashed my right rear door into the car or into the bollard and caused a pretty serious dent in my right rear door. And it was very expensive to repair it. I think it was $10,000. It was a lot. And I was really surprised because as far as I could tell, there was no damage to anything except the right rear door, or there was marginal damage. There was some damage to the wheel well. There's some damage to the wheel, but I didn't really care about that. There's some minor other damage, but nothing worth writing home about. And it's $10,000. My insurance company, which is Amica, which I bought specifically because they have a reputation for actually paying out claims, actually paid it out, even though the repair bill was more than the cost of the car. Because that car is only worth, I have a 2009 Infiniti FX35. It's got about 140,000 miles on it. I love it. It's a great car. I'm going to drive it until it dies. But its value is about $8,500 or $8,000, something there or thereabouts. Of course, that varies with market conditions, but you understand the point, right? And so, they spent more than that. They spent more of the car fixing it. So, yeah. So, anyways, Amica is a good insurance company. So I recently called them for a quote on moving, with the change of address. And they're like, oh, yeah, your insurance is going up $200 a month, which is a 20% increase for me. And I was like, well, I'm still getting the better end of it. I'm still getting the better end of it. Yeah, my insurance went up $200 every 6 months. So that's $400 a year. But, at $10,000 worth of claims, it's going to take 20 years before we're even. So I'm like, well, I guess I got the better end of this deal, So, yeah. Yeah. So, but that's nothing. I've told this story before, too. This is such a great story. This is such a great story. All right. I've told this story before. but we're on topic, right? The car I had before my current car, which I've had for quite a number of years at this point. I've had this car for, I don't know, 7 years, something, 8 years. I don't know. It's a good car. I love it. It's great. No complaints. The car I had before this was an Audi S4. Nice car, very luxurious, very speedy, very good car. I bought it from a used car dealer with something like 23,000 miles on the odometer. It was a 4-year-old car at the time, I think. Because it was an 04. I think I bought it in 08 or 09. It was like a 4-year car, 5-year car, but it only had 20,000 miles on it. So whoever owned it didn't really drive it, right? Because they didn't put very much mileage on it. So I bought it. I was at a sort of, one of the more questionable car lots. No, I think it was at a dealer, but they're kind of a sketchy dealer. And when I went to buy the car, they offered me the extended warranty, as they do, right? They offered me the extended warranty. And I decided to get the extended warranty. And the car itself was, I want to say $18,000. Okay. Which is a pretty good deal, I thought, right? Because it's a $50,000 car. And I'm buying it for 18, and it's very low mileage. So I'm like, oh, well, I'm getting a pretty good deal here. And so they say, we'll sell you this insurance. This bumper to bumper insurance, blah, blah, blah. The insurance is $4,000, okay, from one of these third-party companies. So now I'm paying $22,000. And I know, because I read a lot, that most of the time, these extended warranties are a bad deal, right? Most of the time, they're not a good deal. You won't get back what you pay into them, and they can be quite expensive. And I had just spent almost a quarter of the price of the car again on this extended warranty. So I was like, I don't know if this was a good idea. So being a good lawyer, because I'm a lawyer, because I am, I read through the contract. I read through the extended warranty contract. And there was a provision in there where it said it could be canceled for 30 days. I'm like, okay, so it can be canceled for 30 days. And in order to cancel it, it had to be received by the company by the end of the period, by the end of the 30 days. So I was waffling back and forth on this. Do I cancel it? Do I not cancel it? Do I cancel it? Do I not cancel it? Right? Is it a good deal or is it a bad deal? Right? And so ultimately, I thought, to myself, okay, this is a bad deal. So I'm going to cancel it. So, following all the provisions of the contract, exactly how it has to be done, I write up a letter, dear sirs, pursuant to this clause of the contract, pursuant to this policy number, I hereby provide written notice that I hereby terminate under the provisions of the contract. Please return my money. Sincerely yours on civil law, right? Basically, right, that, okay? So I'm like, all right, I write up this letter. I put it in an envelope along with a copy of the contract, because I think it required I had multiple sheets, right? It had 3 copies. So I had to send them a copy of it. So I put the contract in there, put this letter in it, put it in an envelope, addressed it. Now, when I finally made this decision to do it, it was day 29, right? Or it was day 28. It was day 28 or day 29. And so I'm like, well, I know because I read the contract, it has to be received by day 30. And the only way I can guarantee to get it there by day 30 is express mail, right? Express mail. Because express mail delivers every day of the year and they guarantee the delivery within 1-2 days. So I go to the post office and I'm on the automated kiosk and I punch it up and they're like, this letter will cost $35 to send. Because, it's express mail and express mail is very expensive. And I'm like, nah, I'm like, no, $35 to send this is just too expensive. Forget it. So I threw the envelope back in my car and forgot all about it. A month later, the engine blew up. One of the cylinders dropped out of the head. It dropped into the cylinder for the engine. The cylinder evaporated. When you looked into the cylinder, you could see the connecting rod. You could not see anything else. The cylinder evaporated. The metal was now circulating all inside my engine, having much fun and excitement, and caused the car to catastrophically fail. So I made a claim on the warranty. They had to ship me a brand new engine from Germany. The repair bill was $25,000. The contract had no provision in the contract to total the car. So they couldn't total it. There was no provision in the contract to total it. They had to pay out. So I had a brand new engine drop shipped from Germany, sitting in the corner of a warehouse somewhere, put into my car. And yeah, so in order to save $35, I got $25,000 back. What a return on investment. What a return on investment. Yeah. Did the warranty cover lubricated parts? Well, it covered the engine. It didn't cover some things. Like there was a radiator leak, which may or may not have pre-existed the thing, but they didn't want to replace that, which the radiator fluid was dripping all over the starter motor. But the starter motor hadn't failed yet. I was like, well, we probably should replace that as long as we're here. Because, this thing has been dripping radiator fluid on it for God knows how long. And so that was $750, and there were some other incidentals. So I wound up paying. There were some other things like they wanted to reuse the seals, right? They wanted to reuse the seals from the old engine. These seals are still good. We don't need new ones. Like, fuck no, use new seals. Are you out of your fucking mind? Right? Let's use new seals on a new engine, right? So I had to pay for that and pay some more things. So I wound up paying like, I don't know, $2,000 or $3,000 out of pocket. And the company wound up paying like $25,000 on an $18,000 car. So I spent $4,000. I thought I spent $4,000 on this warranty. I was like, I really want my $4,000 back. Because I had to spend an additional $35 to get my $4,000 back, I decided not to do it. And then I got $25,000. So that's the story. And that car also, incidentally, just turned out to have all kinds of problems with it. The ignition coils went bad. The catalytic converter went bad. And by the time I got rid of that thing, the transmission was on the way out. So that car was cursed. That car was cursed. And by the way, of course, the dealer who sold it to me would have no way of knowing any of this. So it's not like they were trying to pull a fast one on me. They would have no way of knowing this, right? This is a 1 in a million manufacturing defect, right? They have no reason to know any of this shit. It's not like they were trying to trick me. They just sold me a car that was a lemon. But I drove that thing for a couple of years, and then as the transmission started to die, I was like, I need to get rid of this thing before the transmission goes away. I sold it to WeBuyAnyCar.com for a good amount of money. I think they gave me something like $8,000 for this piece of junk. And, the rest is history. So, yeah. So that's one hell of a story, man. That's one hell of a story. Yeah. So, and also I bought an extended warranty on my FX35 from CarMax. And I wound up slightly ahead. It wasn't as big much, but I spent like $2,000 on extended warranty, and a airbag sensor went wrong and something else. So I basically broke even on the CarMax one. So, yeah. What a piece of junk that car was. It was fun to drive. It was sporty, but it was cursed, man. It was a cursed car. You think it was a flooded car? Moral is read the contract. Yeah, well, I guess that's their contract, right? Because I'm reading the contract. How do I get out of it, right? And then it's like, well, because I knew precisely what the contract said. Because I knew precisely what it said, I knew it had to be received. I had to do this. This had to be this way. $35. I forget it. So for a $35 inconvenience, I forgot the whole thing. Yeah. So FX35, it's an Infiniti. It's now called the QX70. They changed their model names. So it's now called the QX70. It's made by Infiniti. But at the time, it was called the FX35. I love it. 2009, it's got this really cool, like, wavy grill that I really like. It's very comfy. It's a nice car. I'm happy. What have you heard about CarMax? I've tend to hear good things about CarMax, but maybe you've heard other things. Yeah, procrastination goes right. Yeah. All right. So, in the question of who decides what's funny and comedy is hard, what's my dream car? I don't know. Maybe a GTR. Or maybe like a Bentley SUV. That'd be cool. Yeah. Probably a Bentley SUV or a GTR. Yeah. I like the Bentleys. Yeah. They would buy cars sight unseen and pay out, and then they couldn't offload the cars. Yeah. Yeah. I had a Mazda Speed 3 before that. That was cool. Hatchback. Um, I was going a little too fast for conditions. The snow, lost control of my car and slid into a curb, damaging the wheel. They replaced it, but I just wanted to get rid of it after that. And yeah, then I had a Mazda 3 for a little while, for 6 months before I had that, and then before that was I had a Toyota Corolla. So that's basically all my cars I've ever owned. It's a short list. GTR and a Bentley. Yeah. So in who decides whether or not something is funny, a radio reporter who was fired over a comedy act has been reinstated after an arbitrator found the jokes funny. That's funny. That's hilarious, right? So he's fired from his job, but he's union. So he protests and they have to hire him back. A 10-year-old Mercedes. I'm not a big fan of the modern Mercedes. My mom had this big boy diesel Mercedes. I think it was called like a 350 or something. It was this big blue diesel, man. I had to learn how to drive on that thing. That was not fun, man. Such a big car. Woof. Failed my driving test a couple times, I think, because of that car, to be honest. Jed Seaman, who is 34, is fully reinstated to his position with WHYY, the Philadelphia-based NPR station, after an arbitrator determined that while his bits posted to social media could be determined as inflammatory, the organization rushed to judgment in its decision to terminate. So they terminate him for some jokes on his own social media. Fun times. Yeah, Lexuses are okay. I drove an RX or RH or whatever it is, RX 350, like their SUV. Hated it. Like as I was buying looking for the SUV and I was looking at the Infiniti, like I bought that the one that like everyone buys, that Lexus. I didn't make it out of the parking lot. I'm like, this car sucks. Now my dad has that car in a sports model, and that's a lot more fun. Right. But the Lexus, the base Lexus, at least the one I was driving, it felt so much like riding on a cloud. There was no road feel. Right. So like I can't feel the road at all. It's like riding on a cloud, and I hate it. I like the sports car. You know, I want an SUV. I want a sporty car. You know, the FX35, I can feel the road. It's nice. Damn. Jeeps, I don't think, are very reliable, are they? So I like the way Jeeps look, but they're not very reliable. When they did that FJ model with the throwback, that was pretty cool, but they stopped doing that one, didn't they? Or that was Toyota who did that. Yeah, I like some of the old Jeeps. They're cool. Anyways, the DJ person whose name is Jed is fully reinstated. In a phone call, he said he felt vindicated by the decision and plans to return to work. When news organization says you're a racist, bigot, whatever, people believe them. So there's a lot of abuse from people who've never met me, who've never seen my stand-up, just saw what they said about me, which was not great. He had been working as a reporter on The Pulse, a nationally syndicated health and science program since 2018, when he was terminated a year ago after executives found his social media account that posted clips of his stand-up, which wasn't on company time. Yeah. The current car I have, though, that engine is bulletproof. That 3.5 liter that's in my car, man, Nissan put that engine in everything. So that engine is bulletproof reliable, so it will go forever. Which works for me. It's got heated seats, cooled seats, cruise control, comfortably seats 4 adults, 5 if you have to push it. It's good on road trips. I love it. I love my car. My car kicks ass. Officials at the radio station had argued his stand-up comedy violated the company's code of conduct, social media guidelines, and values of social responsibility, finding his routine to be inflammatory. They submitted 9 videos from social media as evidence. They argued the clips were egregious in context and had sexual connotations, racial connotations, and misogynistic information. These people don't like jokes. These people don't like jokes. The man, who had worked as a reporter in the United States and abroad since 2013 after serving in the Marine Corps, he's a veteran too. They don't really support our troops, huh? Argued in arbitration stand-up comedy routines stem from his experiences as an Arab American raised in a Muslim family and his time in the military service and reporting in the Middle East. He was frustrated that when he first was fired, people thought it was obvious conclusion for telling jokes while having a day job. Like, what do you mean? You're off hours, you're having fun with creative expression. Of course, you should get fired for that, he said. But I hate that that's normal. I want this to be an example of, no, your employer doesn't own you. Good for him. Good for him, man. It is NPR. They're a bit stuffy. I mean, truth. But, you know, yeah. Jaguar, never been a big fan of Jaguar. I don't know. Just don't hit me the right way. I've driven some Jaguars. I don't know. They just don't do it for me. I like BMWs. I don't really like modern Mercedes. I like older Mercedes. Some stuff from the 50s that are pretty badass. I like BMWs. But I'm not out to spend a lot of money on a car. I wish Subaru made a better looking SUV. Because I like Subaru as a company. I just don't like any of the cars they produce. Their new 7-seater isn't bad. The replacement for the Tribeca, whatever they call it now. But yeah. Kias are cool. Yeah, and Hyundais are cool. I'm not out to spend a lot of money on a car. Yeah. I just wish they had a cooler looking SUV. Like, I don't really like the Forester. It's too boxy. I need something that's more streamlined, like more of a coupe style, you know, and it's like a Forester just isn't right. Yeah. You know. I wish they'd come out with some new cars. They make 5 cars, man. They really need to come up with something else, you know? I do like their all-wheel drive control. It's basically the same as Audi's. So they have one of the better all-wheel drive systems. The only one's arguably on match is Audi. You know? They're legendarily reliable and they can get places other cars can't, which is nice. While the arbitrator conceded some or all the videos could be seen as inflammatory, the very low standard in the collective bargaining agreement I'm required to apply says that he only has to find them simply funny. Nice. So yeah, he's union. He's a collective bargaining agreement. So yeah. How do I feel about Volvo? Not a huge fan. Range Rover? Range Rovers are shit. Range Rovers are shit. Yeah, the really posh people drive them just like they do in the UK. But they're shit reliability. Who would ever buy a Range Rover? They're pieces of absolute garbage. They break down every 5 seconds. Who would buy a Range Rover? That's bullshit. People with too much money and not enough sense. Yeah. As part of the decision, he was to delete the 9 videos cited. He was also asked to delete any offensive post-discharge posts which disparaged the company. Which means, I guess, we can't find the videos. That's very, very sad for me. Porsche I like. Porsche I like. Yeah, they're cool. Yeah. I'd get their SUV. Yeah, Porsche's cool. I have no problems with Porsche. The man had first turned to comedy in 2021 after he was diagnosed with MS. I can't get a break. One of his biggest fears, he said, was losing his fine motor function with his ability to play guitar and piano. But stand-up was safe because he had a mic and a stand. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's the end of that. So fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Range Rovers are just not reliable enough. They're way too expensive and they're not reliable. They're pieces of shit. I like the Ford Edge, I think it's called. I thought about buying that car. That's a cool looking car. So I might get that. I'd also consider Lincoln. Yeah. But the Japanese ones are just so reliable, right? So like, yeah. Footballers buy Range Rovers. Yeah, they do. Yeah, the Edge is cool. I drove that FJ that they made, like a throwback. It wasn't as much fun to drive as it looked on the outside. The Edge is cool. The Edge is definitely cool. And since they got rid of their shit navigation system they used to have, they're workable now. Ford and Mazda. Mazda's cool. Mazda's cool. Mazda makes some good cars, very reliable. I was also sad when when Honda stopped making the S2000. That was a very cool convertible. Yeah. Car Talk with Uncivil is fun. We're having fun with Car Talk with Uncivil. Yeah, the Edge is a cool car. Yeah. It's definitely on a list. But if something happens to my car, I'm going to buy used and buy something that's relatively, especially because my budget is low these days. And I really enjoy not having a car loan very much. I haven't had a car loan in quite some time. It's really nice. I like not having to spend money on car. So as long as I see no particular reason to get rid of my car. It still drives great. It's still fun to drive. Still looks great. What's not to love, man? Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can find a picture because we've been talking about it so long. The one preferably in the same color as mine. That'd be nice. Yeah, here's one. All right, here's one. They have more pictures? Yeah. So yeah, this is my car. This is my car. The 2009 FX35 in this bluish color. You zoom in, like you can see the grille there. right? You can see that like wavy grill. I like it. They called it the electric catfish. I like it. I think it's cool. Yeah, it's got a roof rack. Not that I've ever used it, but it's there. You know, it's a beautiful looking car. Very svelte. You know, here it is from the back. It's a good looking car all around as far as I'm concerned. From the side, seats, they're very nice. They're quilted seats. They're nice. Nice display. It's a little out of date. But you know, nothing you can't solve with your cell phone in terms of things. V6, 3.5 liter. You know, yeah. And this guy is selling this one for, what is he asking it for? There's a little driving video. Ooh. Watch a little driving video. Sweet. Oh, well, I'm not done with the driving video. Show me more driving video. It sounds good. Yeah. Not bad, huh? I love that car. I love that car, man. I love the car. I think it's a great car. This one was sold for 18.5, 18.2. In 2023, they sold it for 18.2. Wow. I think I paid 18,000 when I bought it like 10 years ago. They're still selling it for 18,000. Wow. But yeah, it's only worth about 8 for me. So I love the car. It's reliable. It stands up nice. It's fun to drive. It's a great car. How are we doing on backgrounds, by the way, for Uncivil? Have you guys been posting backgrounds? Because my mod chat hasn't been keeping up. So if we found any new replacement, new backgrounds for Uncivil for his new studio, we're gonna call it. Of course, my car does have 140,000 miles. That car had 40, so that also helps in terms of car. My car has 100,000 more miles, so there's that. Yeah. So do we have other suggestions for Uncivil background in terms of patterns and stuff? What are we guys thinking? You guys find any good stuff on Amazon? No? Okay. Well, we'll keep looking. Your 1998 Ford Ranger crossed 170,000 miles. That's cool. That's cool. All right. We have a roundup of new state laws. A new year means new laws. So, yeah, a lot of states have January 1 be the effective date of new law. Fairly typical. So, some of the new laws that have come your way: guns, pornography, taxes, and fuzzy dice. How fun and exciting. The textured teals with backless bookshelf with LEDs in the cubicles. Yeah, okay, cool. How long do I move? About 2 months. Well, no, a month. No, month and a half. End of February. Fuzzy dice will now be free to dangle in Illinois. Police will no longer be able to pull over motorists solely because they have something hanging from their rearview mirror, such as air fresheners, parking placards, and even, yes, dice. The Illinois rule is one of hundreds of new laws taking effect this year. So you can have your car freshener thing hanging by your thing. So yeah. Yeah. Another Illinois law prohibits People participating in a video conference or scanning social media while behind the wheel. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't be in a video conference while driving. Maybe that's a good idea. A Minnesota law will allow authorities to ask courts for, red flag laws. Colorado will become a dozen of states banning so-called ghost guns. Those are guns you manufacture yourself. What do I think of California's new marijuana law? Well, I don't know what the new law is in particular, but I have a general belief that marijuana should be legal for adults. And I think the federal government needs to get its head out of the ass. And the HHS sent their recommendation over to DEA to reschedule it Schedule 3. And I really hope that happens any time now, because it really should. So I'm of the generalized opinion that marijuana should be legal for adults. That's my view. So yeah. The U.S. Supreme Court declined to block the Illinois law from taking effect that bans high-powered semi-automatic rifles, but maybe later, so pretty soon. Several state laws delve into acceptable online activities. So Connecticut law requires online dating operators to adopt policies for handling harassment reports. North Carolina law will require pornographic website operators to confirm viewers are 18 by using a commercially available database. The law lets parents sue companies if their children are allowed to view porn. Okay, that should be real interesting. Another Illinois law will allow lawsuits from victims of deepfake pornography. That's cool. All right, that's fine. New bans for access to minors for puberty blockers, which I strongly support those laws. Are scheduled to take place in Idaho, Louisiana, and West Virginia. A new law in Hawaii requires marriage certificates to be issued to people to request how their sex is listed. We're updating sex on marriage certificates. That's interesting, I suppose. Hawaii being some... Yeah, I think red flag laws have the potential to be dangerous. I tend to agree. The devil's in the details. The devil's in the details when it comes to such things. In Colorado, new buildings wholly or partly owned by the government were required to have on every floor where their public restroom is at least one that doesn't specify the gender of the user. Okay. Apparently, Hawaii is also updating its law to replace the terms mother with birthing parent and father with non-birthing parent. I want to kill the entire state of Hawaii now. Hawaii changes its law to formally replace mother with birthing person and father with non-birthing. I don't care how transgender people or I don't care how transphobic people say I am. This is some bullshit. This is some absolute bullshit. And yeah, I can't. Yeah, no. The conservative push on policies come with efforts to keep books out of school or public libraries. Relation to schools, and you're going to have a different times on K through 12. Public libraries, that's a different situation too. Secret McSquirrel is definitely in our hearts. I agree totally. Yeah. I get called transphobic sometimes when I express my views on such issues. I don't know. It's like, it's just a way to shut you down. It's like, I just don't agree with what's going on. I just don't agree. It doesn't make sense to me. I want it to make sense. I like logic and rules, and I can't make it work. More than 20 states will raise the minimum wage. I don't necessarily have a particular problem with that in principle. On its practical effects, though, it might lead to further raising the minimum wage has problems. I mean, when you make anything more expensive, you get less of it. So presumably employers will cut hours and or look for solutions that don't involve as much labor, such as robots. Yeah. I oppose puberty blockers. for kids. I oppose any surgeries for kids. I oppose allowing transgender people to participate on teams other than their natural sex. I'm not 100% sure that gender really exists as a concept, because it seems like gender is really just personality traits, right? When people try to describe what genders are, it sounds like they're describing personality traits. So I'm not even sure I believe that gender is a concept that exists. I believe sex is a concept that exists. I think gender was originally just a euphemism for sex. So they used it because they didn't want to say sex because it sounded dirty. But I'm not even sure gender as a concept exists. Because, well, it's on a spectrum, because people say, well, it's on a spectrum. It sounds like you're describing personality traits, so. In Kansas, sales tax on groceries will drop from 4% to 2%, eventually to be eliminated altogether. About 1 million filers are expected to benefit Connecticut's first income tax rate reduction since the 90s. Missouri will reduce its rates, and Alabama will exempt overtime pay from the state's income tax. Okay, that's kind of cool. Those are some interesting laws. I just want to make sense. I want to make sense, right? And it's like it's the problem of definitions. I want to have definitions, and the people who tend to support it can't come up with definitions. It's like Matt Walsh's famous question, "What is a woman?" Right? Then they can't answer the question because any definition necessarily excludes, and they don't want to exclude. But for the word to have meaning, it must exclude. It can only include some things. It can't include everything. If it includes everything, the word's pointless. Right? So like you'll say, well, a woman is a person who identifies as such. That is completely unhelpful. What does it mean to identify someone? Someone who feels like a woman. Okay, what does it mean to feel like a woman? I mean, genuinely, what does that mean? What does it mean to feel like a woman? How would I know if I feel like a woman or not? What are feelings that women have that men don't have? How about that? Are there feelings that women have that men don't have? Or feel more of? How would I know if I feel like a woman? How would I know that? I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. And the logic doesn't make sense. The logic doesn't make sense. So every time I try to make the logic work, it all collapses into a pile of stupid. It all collapses into a pile of stupid. Yeah. Yeah. The hormones are the same drugs they give to chemically castrate sex offenders. Yeah, when being a woman isn't a feeling, that's why I can't describe it. That's what I would think. I've met a lot of different women who act a lot of different ways. So I don't think you can reduce women to a set of tropes. You can't reduce it to a costume. Yeah, the phrase adult human, you don't know what it feels like to get your period. I don't know what it feels like when you get kicked in the balls. You also don't know how it feels when you are a teenage male and you're getting random erections all the time, and sometimes inconveniently. Just, getting random erections all the time. It's just dick just pops up, and it's kind of leads to some awkward social situations. Yeah. Also, I think as a general proposition, women don't really understand what it's like to be a man in terms of the sexual marketplace. I was watching, I think it might have been the Whatever podcast, but I don't know. But they were interviewing a woman, and they said, what was the question they said? Said something like, because I forget what they had said. And so the host's question back was, so you're saying if a man approaches 10 women at a club, he'll be able to sleep with one of them? And the woman clarified, well, if they're in his league, if they're not the 10 most beautiful women, if they're 10 people. So he re-clarified the question. Like, okay, so you're saying that if a man approaches 10 women in his league, then he'll be able to go home and have sex with one of them? She's like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, no, that is absolutely not the male experience. There's a reason they call it getting lucky. There's a reason they call it getting lucky. And also it was interesting because they did a thing where they were talking about like the increase of sexlessness. And he said, again, I'm going to get these numbers wrong in terms of their precision, but it'll get the point through. The host said something like 29% of men 25% of men under 30 are virgins. And she seemed shocked. And then he said something like 35% of men under 30 haven't had sex this year. And she seemed shocked. And it's like, I can't believe that's true. It's like, because women don't see the men that are falling into the stat, you don't even see them, right? Because if I asked you about again, I'm paraphrasing. If I asked you about the manager at the Hardee's and who's fucking him, you'd say no. If I asked you about the bagger at the Walmart, who's fucking him, you'd say nobody. But you don't even see them unless I bring it to your attention. That's why it's so surprising to you, because you don't even see the men who aren't getting laid. You don't even see them, so you don't factor it into the equation. It's like, there's a lot of truth to that, man. There's a lot of truth to that. And as a person who hasn't had a romantic liaison in a hot minute, yeah. I like to think I'm a nice guy. I'm a sweet guy. But yeah. Let's see what else is happening. What are we watching here? All right. All right. Come on. All right. Apparently, some people will lie on eBay. Yeah. Most married men aren't getting any. I hear something like a quarter of marriages are sexless. Yeah, a quarter of marriages are sexless, which seems really, really sad. That seems incredibly sad. I still think about whether or not I should have married her. We've been broken up for 5 or 6 years, and I still think. What can you do? All right. A man who claimed to be selling Queen Elizabeth's walking stick on eBay has been sentenced for fraud. Yeah. Apparently, the 26-year-old man tried to sell a walking stick that he said was used by Queen Elizabeth on eBay, and apparently some people tried to buy it or something. Yeah. OkCupid has done some really good stuff when it comes to stats on men and women and what they do look for and what they don't look for. In terms of it, it's really, really interesting. Men as it relates to women are basically on a bell curve. Right? The bell curve is maybe slightly shifted, but men rate women on a bell curve, which you would expect. Women don't. Women rate everyone as below a 7, basically a 0, right? So they don't rate people on a bell curve. Women are much harsher judges than men are. Men are able to judge women basically accurately. Women don't judge men accurately. Women are much more picky. The OkCupid has done some wonderful stuff on stats. Let me see if I can find them because they're just fun. because they have a lot of data. They have a lot of data. So they know how people rate things. So this is from 2009. All right, so this is from 2009. But here it is from OkCupid, right? So this is what OkCupid wrote in 2009 about the subject. All right. So OkCupid wrote, "This week will confront the unfortunate truth that no matter how much time you spend polishing your profile, it's your picture that matters most. We're going to look at how your photos affect both messages you get and how successful your own messages are. We know that beautiful people are more successful daters, but let's quantify how much. To illustrate the spectrum and to put some real faces on our discussion, I want to introduce a few photos of real users. Here are two women and two men at near the top of our range. So in 2009, at least, these were considered to be apparently the most attractive people. Right? So, okay, by stats. And here's two sets in the middle. As for bombs of the curve, it didn't feel right to say someone, can I use your illustration as a concept of ugliness? So I'll let you extrapolate. Okay, the above features users have graciously allowed me to post their pictures. Funnily enough, I had to write about a dozen beautiful females before anyone get back to me. So here is this chart. So here is the chart that shows, here's male appraisal of female attractiveness, right, on a scale of 1 to 5. So you can see this is a bell curve, right? This is a bell curve. It's not perfect, but it's a bell curve, right? So the men are rating women basically as attractive as they are. So the OkCupid guy says our chart shows how men rate women on a scale of 0 to 5. The curve is symmetric and surprisingly charitable. A woman is as likely to be considered extremely ugly as extremely beautiful. And the majority of women are medium. The chart looks normalized, even though it's unfiltered. So this is not a normalized chart, but it looks normalized, right? This is just the raw data. It's not normalized, but it looks normalized because that's what men are doing. They're just rating women about as attractive as they are. All right. And then here's how the female data looks. So the message distribution. So the men are sending messages in a linear line with attractiveness. But at the uttermost attractive, it tapers off. So there's essentially a linear line between how attractive you are and how much they'll message you until you get to the very upper echelon with men. All right. So men choose the model. Someone who is attractive gets 5 times as many messages and 28 times as many messages as a woman at the low end of the curve. So guys are fighting each other 2 to 1 for the absolute best females, while plenty of other girls go unwritten. So that is how men do it. And then the female chart is even more depressing. So here's the female chart. So first, take a look at the dotted line. The dotted line is how women rate men. And it's a total disaster area, right? So whereas the men's dotted line was in a bell curve, the women's line is completely skewed. It's like only the right half of the line, right? So basically everyone is unattractive. Everyone is unattractive, right? The entire chart is skewed to the left, right? And the women message on kind of a bell curve, but they don't rate them attractively on that, right? So it's just a complete disaster. So according to the gray line, women rate 80% of guys as worse looking than average. Yeah. Women rate 80% of guys as worse looking than average. Yeah. So it's a rough go out there. So in terms of number of messages received versus attractiveness for females, it's really curved. For men, it's less dramatic. And then we see some scales on attractiveness and success and all the rest of it. It's a really, really interesting thing. It's a really, really interesting thing. So, yeah. So I suppose women would rate me as below attractive, which I suppose is fair because I'm a fat ass. I'm very obese, although I don't look it in my face as much. There are definitely people who weigh less than me who look fatter than me. So I do hide my body weight well for my weight, but I still am a fat ass. So that's probably not helping. Where did we get lost? We were doing thing on the queen. Anyways, guys, selling thing is a fraud. Did it apply to women of all ages? You can look at the blog yourself. I think it was across the board, you know. So I think so, but you'd have to check that, you know. So I'm not going to get into it. It was just to highlight the point because I thought it was interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I think women are more picky. I think women are all trying to find the top 20% of guys. And yeah, I think that bottom 80% of guys are basically being, if you're a top 1% man, all the women want you, which is good for you because you can sleep with as many women as you want, but you know, not so good for the women because they're choosing flash over stability. I'm tall, I'm cuddly, working on it. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. I'm appreciate it. Fat people can be good looking. Well, the women aren't coming up to me. And so I'm not sure what that's all about. You know? I was thinking of going to Mexico and trying to pick up some chicas. It'd be good. I need a break anyway. Maybe I'll take a holiday. All right, so let's see. Three people have eaten laundry detergent in a Taiwanese election giveaway. Apparently, the campaign was distributing some freebies that included some laundry detergent, but people thought it was eating. Yeah. Yeah. Three people were hospitalized after mistakenly eating the colored pods of liquid laundry detergent. One of the victims thought it was candy. A nationalist campaign office gave away about $460,000 of the pods. So, yeah. Dating is hard work. Dating is extremely hard work. Yeah. You can be intimidating. Yeah, maybe a little. Maybe I'm a little intimidating. I'm nice. Yeah, I'm nice. But maybe I'm a little intimidating. All right. In the AI are coming for court opinions news, I can't believe they allowed for this, but yeah. Yeah, maybe I just need to do the full passport bro thing. That's what I need to do. I need to go full passport bro and find myself some nice Mexican chica who's young and wants to have a lot of Hispanic babies and bring her to America, make her my senora. The UK has apparently given approval for judges to use AI in writing legal opinions. Yeah, so apparently we don't need judges anymore. We're just going to use the AI to write the legal opinion. Uh-huh, that's good. Not all women would believe I'm interested in them. RBF is an issue. I have RBF? Do I have RBF? Do I have resting bitch face? This resting bitch face? The courts and tribunal judiciary last month said AI could help write opinions, but stressed it couldn't be used for research. Judges do not need to shun the careful use of AI, but they must ensure they protect confidence and take full responsibility for everything they produce. Do I comprehende español? No, I don't, but I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to learn. Hold on. Quieres castarte conmigo. Quieres castarte conmigo. Yeah, I got what I need. I got what I need. At a time when scholars and legal experts are pondering a future when AI could replace lawyers, help select jurors or even decide case, the approach spelled out by the judiciary is restrained. But as a profession slow to embrace technology, which is true, the legal profession has always been slow in a lot of ways. It's been very small c conservative for a very long time. It's a proactive step to government and industry and society in general rapidly advancing technology. AI in the judiciary is something people are uniquely concerned about, and somewhere where we are particularly cautious about keeping humans in the loop. In taking what was described as the initial step, England and Wales moved towards the forefront of the court addressing AI, though it's not the first such guidance. Lexis has an AI tool now? I believe it. Yeah. So yeah, that's happening too. That's fun. I can say your nipples taste like honey in 5 languages. Okay, that's an interesting way to go. Rebecca, you can always send me an email. You can always send me an email. Include a photograph and a brief description of yourself, please. Thank you. All right, let's see what else we got. Okay. Well, Florida, ma'am. Me gusta una cerveza. That's a good one too. I have rich boy face. It's a good icebreaker. Yeah, maybe it's a good icebreaker. All right, so Florida, ma'am. Florida man went shark fishing. Quieres castarte conmigo? Yeah, conmigo. Yeah. Quieres castarte conmigo? Florida man went shark fishing. He's going to need a bigger boat. His boat choice left a little something available. Rebecca, once again, if you're really serious, send me an email with a photograph and a brief description, and we'll go from there. Thank you. Florida man in a unicorn floaty hooked a 10-foot shark and was towed 4 miles offshore. The TikTok video shows a larger fishing vessel coming up on a guy in a floaty, a bit baffled by what they're seeing. What are you doing? They yell. He says, I'm catching a shark. First, you have to learn to say, Quiere ser mi novia. Quiere ser mi novia. Quiere ser novia. Is that? I'll play the video. I'm getting there. Calm down. You want to be my girlfriend. Yeah. All right. Based on the video, the guy had been fishing near the beach in Fort Lauderdale when he hooked the shark and was dragged 4 miles offshore. Once they figured out what was going on, the crew on the boat tossed the man a line and get him on board. Once on board, the floaty guy proceeded to grab the rod and land the shark. The video cuts off after that. It's unclear what happened. So, yeah, let's... Is there no audio on this? There's no audio apparently on this one. Well, that is interesting. I don't know if Rob was out fishing or something, but that's, yeah, no, there he is. He's I have it muted. I can't unmute it. It won't unmute. I'm clicking the mute thing. It won't unmute. Oh, there it is.
It had a hole in it. Don't lose this fish, bro. Whatever you do. Here it is, guys. Look at this. Oh, you're dangerous. Yeah, yes. Oh my God.
Let's play it again. Come on. Play.
Dude, Joey, there's a guy on it. I swear to God. Straight ahead. Dude, what are you doing?
Oh my God.
What?
What you got on?
What? There's a rod in his hand. What are you doing? You have a shark? Oh my God. He said he was at the beach? He's getting towed around.
By a shark.
Look at the whole thing is moving. Do we have like a rope? This is insane. We're off the coast of Fort Lauderdale, I guess. There's a person hooked up to something like a stingray or a shark, something big enough to tow him out to sea. Bro, what's your name? You are going so viral.
Terrible too.
Okay, we're gonna help you. Let's get a rope to him. Got it?
Get the rod first.
Okay, rod first. This is a true fisherman, guys. You want to land this thing or should we just cut the line?
Let's land it. I'm already out here.
Dude, there's really something on this.
Let's catch it.
Okay.
guys.
Okay, I got him.
Get the hand.
Back up. Dude, are you okay?
Don't forget the unicorn.
Here you go. We got an old fighting bell. I found one in the back for you. This dude was on a freaking unicorn. What's wrong with his tail?
It had a hole in it.
It had a hole in it? Don't lose this fish, bro. Whatever you do. Here it is, guys. Look at this. Oh, you're dangerous.
Yeah, yes.
Oh my God.
Okay. Well, that's different, I suppose. That's different. That's funny. Oh man, good times. If that's real and not staged, that's pretty epic. Who fishes in a floaty? Don't ask those kinds of questions. But there's no joy to be had there. There's no joy to be had there. We can cover the Hershey's one with the pumpkins. Yeah, this is Hershey's has been sued for $5 million because the cute face is missing on the Reese's peanut butter. Man. So yeah, so here's a picture of the packaging. Halloween themed Reese's. As you can see, it is something we'll call it pumpkin shaped, and it has some eyes and it has a smile. And here's the actual product where it doesn't appear to have any of those things. It looks like kind of a lump. You know, it just looks kind of like a lump. A bit of dressing up in product advertising be expected, but how much embellishment do we allow before calling a lie? That is the question brought in this lawsuit, which I don't really imagine is going to go anywhere, to be honest. Okay. She alleges she bought the company's cute-looking peanut butter pumpkins with jack-o'-lantern wrapping believing the candidate in question would match the picture, only to feel tricked, not treated. This is a class action against Hershey's for false representation. In order to boost sales and revenue, Hershey changed the packaging to include the detailed carvings within the last 2 to 3 years. Uh-huh. The suit claims the problematic packaging extends to Reese's seasonal ghosts, bats, and pumpkins, and cites some videos. It yet to be determined whether the case will make past the judge. I'm not buying that one. Yeah. So that's a story, and I don't think it's going. Get out of my courtroom. Right. I cannot be bothered with this petty shit. I cannot be bothered with this petty shit. Dismissed, petty. What else can we talk about, man? We have a nice little conversation today. Can we go Amazon shopping some more? See what we got. All right. Am I going to be covering the oral arguments in the Richard Allen case, Delphi, on the 18th? Yeah, I think I will. Mons, put that on my calendar, please, would you? Cover Delphi on the 18th. Excuse me. 3 teens who escaped from jail for the second time. Hadn't heard that one. I heard the one where the DA argues that lies in an affidavit don't matter because he's already arrested. No, I haven't heard that. Shouldn't lie in an affidavit, it's illegal. Yeah, so let's see what we got. So we got some, yeah, we could do this gold and white geometric pattern, but I think that's probably too busy. I don't think I want like a green screen background. Man went viral after getting stuck in a vase. Yeah. I don't think I want like anything like a complex pattern. You know, I don't think that would look good. A simple pattern, maybe. Here's one in blue that's not too bad. One in blue with like sort of oval-like thing. That's not so bad. There's one for black wood. On WLBT, we're shopping. We're shopping for backgrounds for my new studio. Yeah. Got a wood one that's not too bad. Marble, I don't think is the way to go here. I think that would look weird. These black with the yellow up arrows is kind of cool. Okay. Case where the DA lies, says doesn't matter because defendant was already arrested. Treehouse murder trial. Oh yeah, I was watching the opening arguments on that one. I was watching the opening arguments on that one because the guy is pro se and he gave actually a pretty decent opening argument. I was planning on covering that tomorrow. I'm going to cover opening arguments tomorrow. And I might cover, I might try to cover more of the trial. So it looks pretty interesting. Spaceship background. Bee-fish? No, guys, no. Let's keep it like classy, you know? We want this to seem professional. We want this to seem like, you know, professional and well thought out. You know, we don't want to be cute by this. You know, this is something we need to, like, you know, make it seem like we're professionals. It's time we had a professional look. Solid color contact paper. Okay. So we could do something like, just like a textured green, like a forest green. And that comes in a way, right of color. So we could just do something like, we could do something like a light blue, maybe. It comes in orange, black, brown, blue, gray, dark green, lake blue. Lake blue could be fun. Light blue. Rock wall. I don't think I want to go too dark. Can I go what's happening with D.A. Fannie Willis? What do I think will happen in the case? Which case in particular? Dark blue? Maybe. Light blue is calming. Light blue is calming. Like, yeah, light blue. I like that kind of lake blue. That was kind of cool. Like teal. That's cool. Purple. Yeah. What about the texting judge? Weren't they kicked off the bench? The brick thing. The light blue, though, like, yeah. Solid blue peel. There's one in the navy. Oh, that comes in a lot of colors too. Here's one in the navy. This also comes in like a ocean blue. That's cool. Library tapestry. Okay. Take a look at library tapestry. Take a look at this. Yeah. All right, so we have this white brick one that Tony said. That's cool. When you say that's perfect, you're gonna have to be more specific because we're moving on. What is perfect teal? Yeah. Ocean blue and teal. Yeah. Shiz Wiznut is rating. Thank you very much, Shiz, for the raid. Can I save a screenshot of the color texture, use a backdrop? I suppose I could do that. I suppose I could green screen it and just put up any background I want. I could do that. Yeah, I could do that. Although I wouldn't be able to hang things from the green screen or put like books in front of it. I wouldn't be able to do that. But yeah, I could do it that way. Library tapestry. Let's take a look at library tapestry. See what that is. Dark navy blue. Yeah, maybe some shade of blue. Dark navy blue might be too dark, but yeah. Bricks are pretty. Yeah. Library tapestry. I don't know. I don't know, like fake books as a tapestry. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I want to do that. I don't think I want to do fake books as a tapestry. I want that. But like this, yeah, this lake blue is cool. This lake blue is a cool color. This lighter blue, that's cool. And you could also do like, so this is lake blue. It's more like a teal, and this one is light blue. Ooh, is that what it actually looks like with the texture? Ooh, I think I'm in love. With the lighter blue color right behind now, let's see how it looks. Sure, give me a second. I can set that up. It's going to take a second to set it up on a green screen, but give me a second. Yeah, we can do it. Give me a second. Okay. Yeah, give me a second. We can set it up. Oh, my legs hurt a little bit. See. It's going to take a second. Let's see what I can do here. I don't know if there's a picture of just the thing, with it by itself. I could fake it, sort of. Be low resolution, though. It won't be perfect. It'll give us an idea of what we're looking at. All right, this is going to take a second. Can I do that? You need far more light to make it work effectively. It's what I have, John. So, and I use this green screen all the time for Attorneys React, so it'll be fine. Shit. This is really difficult to do this. This is going to look pretty shitty, I think. Yeah, it's not going to work. By the time I expand it out and make it maximize, it's not going to look right. I need a unfiltered image to work from. We're not doing the beefish background. We're doing something serious, guys. If I have to explain it again, like, guys, come on. Trying to make it look nice. We're trying to make it look professional. I'm trying to up our game here. We're not trying to be cute about this. Trying to find something that's going to look nice. Inspire confidence, you know? It looks weird. Well, it'll be close-ish. I'm not sure how good it's going to be, but it's the best I can do because I can't find a pure image of it by itself. So we're going to have to do this cheap and dirty. Okay, there you go. There you go. Okay. Big black void. Let's see. All right, now I need to change background. Image. Background. Here. This. Here. Now. Not perfect. At least an idea. So something like that. Although the resolution isn't perfect because I had to copy a little portion of the screen and up. So it's a little distorted from what it would be, but something like that. What are we thinking? Dollar General Blue, no. Let's do the one. One distracts too much for me. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. All right, so let's try the one that I had started with, that darker blue one, that with the reds or whatever. Let's see. Where's the one I was looking at? I hate it when I can't find something again. Excuse me. Where's that one I started with? Oh, I know where I can. Try the bricks. Try the brick. Let me try this one first. Wish you could just get like a completely unobstructed. Oh. Okay. Okay. All right. Hold on. All right. This is going to be better, I think, in terms of quality. Be more representative of what it looks like in the real world, hopefully. Yeah. Won't be perfect. You know, it'll be workable. As I bastardize this thing together. Sometimes when you do things, it like this is gonna probably make the details look too big. Yeah, gonna make the details look too big. If the threads are gonna look too big, it's gonna look zoomed in. Well, that's the best I can do, so we'll do with that. Okay. Okay. All right, now I need to change the background color, the background image. This one, okay, yeah, that's the darker blue with the stripes threading. Too zoomed in though. But yeah, it's too zoomed in, but it's closer. Wonder if I can find like better image of it. Kind of cool, yeah. I like it. Looks like the night sky a bit much. Yeah, maybe. It's only like $10 too. It's $7. It's $8. Cheap as shit. Yeah. Okay, I could try. All right, let me try this. See if I can get a little bit more representative. Now this one's going to have a couch in it, but you know, so it's going to look a little weird because it's going to have a couch, which is not my couch. But it might make the background look a little bit neater. Yeah. Hold on. Drop that. All right, this is going to be a little bit closer. There's going to be a couch in the middle. That's not going to actually be a couch I'm going to have, but give you a little bit closer to the sense of the background. Yeah, so that's a little bit closer to what you would see on camera, minus the couch. And the floor. What about a fun background scene? I don't want a fun background. I want something, again, I'm trying to make this look a little bit more professional, a little bit more refined. I want this to inspire confidence. So I don't want this to be, I want this to be a little bit more serious, a little bit more, that inspires confidence. I don't want to be comical or jokey. Up so you can see the face light. Well, if I take the hat off, it'll be even better because it won't block the light. Yeah. The couch is not, well, yeah, how wide is the couch in the shot? I don't know. It's just closer. It's closer, right? Because I'm having to cobble together images because I can't find a pure image. Just having to cobble together what I can show you. Like, dark navy solid. Yeah. Well, I mean, that'd be a way to just do that, right? It's like it's, let's see. Background, line, elements. Change the color. Royal blue, purple. Cobalt blue. Navy blue, huh? Oh. Okay, here it is. All right, so you want navy blue? Dark navy blue? Okay, you want a dark navy blue. All right. Okay. See how that looks with the dark navy blue. Okay. Here's the background image. Better? Good? Worse? What happened to teal? Different people are asking for different things. Well, at the moment, Sean, we're just trying to do a test run, right? In when we really do this for real, we're going to want to find a practical effect background. So we will get a wallpaper or something that's of the right color. For the moment, we're just trying to find something that's suitable, so we know what we're looking for. Like that just doesn't give enough depth. Yeah, I think that's right. I think it needs to be textured. I agree. Okay, well, maybe there's another way to do this. Yeah. All right. You want something in earth tones? I think blue is a good color for me. Could also go to a lighter shade of blue. So we could try just straight navy blue instead of dark navy blue. See how that looks. Okay, let's change this, change this. That's in like a traditional navy blue. It looks just like a blue screen though, kind of. I don't know. I think some sort of texture is what we need. I think we need texture. Yeah. I think we need a textured background. The one we're looking for, it comes also in a can't see teal at all. Well, we can do the peel and stick one. We're looking at does come lighter blue as well. Hold on. Yeah. So if we go back to this image, we see this is we see this darker blue. We're looking. It also comes. No, it doesn't come in a lighter blue. It comes in a green, teal, but not in a lighter blue. Oh yeah. Need texture, yeah. Am I going to make that work with my shelves and knickknacks? That's what I'm saying, right? In the end, well, assuming we do that, assuming we have a shelf and knickknacks, we haven't decided that. But assuming we do shelves, then we'll leave the backs open of the shelving, so the color will peek through. And this is just a green screen right now. This is just a green screen. But when we do it for real, it'll just be put on the wall. So we're just simulating it to see how it looks, to see what people like. We're just testing things out. But when we really do it, we'll just put it on the wall. Then it will be practical. It'll be peel and stick wallpaper. It'll be practical. So that's how we'll do it. Well, you guys already looked at the teal. You guys didn't like the teal. You thought it was too light. Well, that's the teal. Right? So that's the teal. That's what the teal looks like. I don't know. I don't know about teal. You like the teal? Teal, really? Teal looks great. Oh, okay. I thought you guys didn't like the teal. Teal's a good color for me. I thought you guys didn't like the teal. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Hold on. See what I can do in terms of getting a better image of it. Not much. Yeah. Wish I could get a better image of this. Everything is just so compromised. Let's see what I can do here. Just simulating it for now. Just trying to see what it looks like. Test. All right. Okay, this again is going to be a little distorted, but it'll give you an idea of what we're talking about. You like that? It's the teal. You guys like that one? Again, it's going to be a little distorted because I had to blow it up to get it on screen, but gives you an idea what we're talking about. It's a little zoomed in and a little bit low res, but yeah, there's texture in this. There's texture in this because you got all these white things. So this is very textured. If you look at it in the if you look at it here where it's a little bit easier to see the you looked at the Amazon page, right, then you can see like the texture up close. You can see all these like threads. You can see the texture. Like here, you can see the texture of it pops through. It's nice. It's subtle. Yeah. Well, we're definitely not going to make everyone happy when it's color. A little too green for my taste, but it's not awful. Yeah. There's always the big black void. There's always the big black nothing. The one before this teal. Yeah. There's these plain ones that we were looking at, but solid color. I think I really want some texture though. Yeah, there's a lot of solid color ones. See what we can do in terms of textured blue. So we got some textured blues ones. Here's that one that kind of looks like pants or something. This is the one we were looking at here. This blue silk, textured dark blue contact paper. That was one we were looking at. Do you guys like that darker blue? Like that color? It's like that, like darker blue. Pretty cool. Teal for sure. Color behind me is a good color. Oh, that's just that's not a wallpaper. That's just an image texture I have. Let's see, is there anything else here that even looks good? We might try the dark blue. I think it's going to be either dark blue or the teal from that one. I think that's the most likely outcome right now. Yeah. You guys wanted to see brick? I mean, yeah. Darker with a side light. Yeah, we could do that. All right. All right, cool. All right. Well, the blue looks like a law office. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I think that's likely. We couldn't even order it and see what it looked like. It's not very expensive. The black blue glitter one. Glitter. I think so. That's yeah. I think that blue one I started with is kind of where I'm leaning. That dark blue one with the like white stuff in it. I think that'll be cool. How wide is the greens? I don't know. Why do you ask? Delgado. I don't know. Let me find out. Um. Uh. Oh, Delgado. Yeah. The green screen is 58 by 70, which is no. I don't want anyone in my. I don't want anyone in my house. I don't want anyone in my house. I appreciate the offer, but I don't want anyone for a safety reason. Determine the wall space needed. Yeah, a little bit more than 57 inches. Yes. Gone to significant effort to try to keep my new address. All right, guys, I'm gonna sign off for now. I'm tired. I don't want to go to bed. I'm gonna sign off. Hope you had a good time. I had a good time. Thanks for joining me on the journey about how we're thinking about stuff. So I do like including you guys on this kind of thing. So that's cool. So yeah. I've been Uncivil until later. I'm gonna sign off. Till later, my friends. Goodbye.